Hello and good afternoon to our Rochester City School District staff, families, and community members. I'm Dr. Lesli Myers-Small, and I am the superintendent, as you know, for Rochester. This afternoon, I'm going to spend a little bit of time going over our RCSD reopening plan. As you know, we have had a school year like none other. Being in the midst of a pandemic and working to move forward to do what's in the best interest of students, staff, and families has continually been at the forefront of my mind. And so this afternoon, I am going to take you through our reopening plan, which is built on 3 phases, which I will outline. So I'll start with our first core belief in our strategic plan. And that first core belief is that students are our first priority and they will drive every single decision that we make. And this priority really means so much to me as I think about the work that we're doing in the Rochester City School District, and particularly as it relates to reopening. We have a Board of Education representative, and her name is Anaya, and I am always really paying attention to what she has to say because she's full of such wisdom. She leads our Student Leadership Council, and I have had the opportunity to attend all of their meetings this school year and listen to their voices and to listen to their feedback. One of the things that really touched me when I met with them during our student focus group is the encouragement and the belief and trust that they had in myself, my colleagues, our principals, and other staff members. And they said, we trust that you're going to make the decision, the best decision for us moving forward, and you've got this. And so that really has been a guiding light and a guiding force for me as the superintendent as I think about reopening. It is so critical that we always take into consideration students as a stakeholder. So talking about students, I would be remiss if I didn't mention our staff, and I have to say a huge, huge, huge thank you from the bottom of my heart. There are certainly no words to express how thankful, how grateful and appreciative I am for all of the work that you have done during one of the most challenging times that we have experienced as a district. To our principals, I thank you for your leadership and your guidance during this time of being remote and as we transition towards opening our schools back up for our students and staff to return. To our teachers who interact with our students daily, for your love and care and compassion for our scholars. And to all of our staff who work tirelessly, to ensure that our students have the resources that they need, the social and emotional support that you provide our students, the food that you deliver to our students and supply to our students, and other supplies, the equipment, those who are transporting our students, and so much more. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you for your compassion, for your kindness, and for your care for all of our students in the Rochester City School District. So let's jump into the reopening plan and talk about the 3 phases. And I'll just spend a little bit of time giving you some information. So as you're aware, phase 1 begins on January 5th, 2021, and that's a Tuesday. In phase 1, both hybrid and in-person and remote learning will be occurring. So I am excited that we are welcoming back students in grades K through 12 in specialized services. So these are our students with most significant disabilities. The January 5th start date is new for students as we are allowing staff between now and January 4th to visit classrooms in these schools to make sure they're set up and that they are configured according to CDC guidelines. The number of students participating in this phase is 325. The hybrid/in-person model will include in-person instruction for 4 days, and you can see that's indicated in blue on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that's 4 days, and then virtual asynchronous learning for 1 day. The instruction provided will align with each of our students' needs as outlined in their individualized education plans or IEPs. Related services will be provided in person or via teletherapy sessions. Students who opt remote in grades K-12 specialized programs will continue to receive instruction through the virtual learning model, which is delivered asynchronously and synchronously. Remote students will also continue to receive related services via teletherapy sessions, and in-person sessions can be arranged with the provider and associate director. Families, if you're listening this afternoon or later on, you will receive a back-to-school guide that can be found online at www.rcsdk12.org/family guide, as well as a consent form which allows the district to test your child for COVID-19. This guide has been also translated into Spanish and will be translated into Arabic and Nepali. Let's talk just a little bit about our district reopening plan numbers, and you can see that what they are for our total district numbers, our pre-K through 6 totals, and our 7-12 totals. So a little over 2 weeks ago, schools reached out and contacted families, and I want to again thank the staff who reached out to our families. And we asked about the preferred learning choice for the remainder of the school year. And families chose to continue with either fully remote learning or a hybrid/in-person model with 2 days of in-person instruction for their children. As you can see, overwhelmingly, a majority of our families supported the remote learning model we have been using since the beginning of this school year. And please just note that remote numbers that you see, 17,271 for district totals, a little over 9,000 for pre-K 6, and a little over 8,100 for 7-12, reflect those who selected remote, those who were undecided, and those who did not respond. Let's now move into phase 2. These are students in pre-K through 6 that are not in the K-12 specialized service. So these are students who are receiving bilingual special education and those students in general education. The start date for students in pre-K through 6 is Monday, February 8th, 2021. Students will receive 4 days of instruction. 2 consecutive days will be hybrid and in-person, and 2 days will be fully remote. 1 day will be completely asynchronous. In most circumstances, students will keep their existing teachers. Not all, but most. While our hybrid students attend class in person, remote students will join using Zoom for part of the school day. Our teachers will teach remote and in-person students at the same time using Seesaw and Google Classroom as the primary learning platforms. Hybrid/in-person learning will also include asynchronous/independent learning opportunities for all students. Teachers will use a variety of methods to ensure that our students are engaged and have access to high-quality learning experiences each day. Students will also receive the electives or essentials during virtual learning. The essentials curriculum will feature thematic units in grade bands of pre-K through 2, 3rd through 4th grade, and 5th through 6th grade for art, music, dance, theater, physical education or PE, health, and library. Each unit will feature 5 to 7 lessons containing embedded videos of teachers instructing in their content areas through asynchronous learning. Related services and social emotional support, or SEL, will be provided either synchronously or asynchronously and can be arranged for in-person. On Wednesdays, students will completely be asynchronous/independent with a variety of learning experiences to engage in. In January, we will be sending out more information to families with their child's school, the teacher's name, and information about the return to school for hybrid/in-person learning. Last week, we had several physicians visit our Board of Education meeting, and they presented to our board. So we have data not only from the state and county and local pediatricians who visited us that says school is indeed the safest place for our children. In my humble opinion, it would be irresponsible to ignore that data. I've mentioned before that we are a part of the Big Five, which are the 5 largest school districts. And we just found out or discovered that Buffalo Public Schools will also be reopening their schools on February 1st, 2021. Let's now move to phase 3. For all students remaining, and these are our students in grade 7. So just a reminder that in phase 3, as I already indicated, an overwhelming majority of our families supported the remote learning model, which we've been using since the start of school. And this is even more true of our scholars in 7th through 12th grade, where only 27% overall selected the hybrid in-person learning model. So let's talk about phase 3. Phase 3 is broken into 2 parts. You have students that will remain in virtual or remote learning, but we're also providing what we're calling learning pod supports. While primary instruction will be delivered in the remote setting, students will have the opportunity to have in-person support in learning pods. Let's just talk a little bit about what do we mean when we say learning pods. Learning pods are small groups of students with similar needs who are brought together to receive tailored, specific, individualized support. Where possible, teachers will schedule in-person weekly visits with students, followed by consistent virtual visits and touch points throughout the week. This in-person time will consist of small group learning and opportunities for adults to check in with each student. All of our students in grades 7 through 12 are eligible to participate in in-person learning pods. Learning pods will include instructional and social emotional support, including resources that are needed for our graduating seniors. The Department of Teaching and Learning has developed a framework for each school and will be working with each school. The school-based planning team in particular will work to create a learning pod plan that responds to the unique school-based and student needs. The plans will be built on the following guidelines. Learning pods should meet on a consistent basis. Schools must plan a weekly schedule for each teacher that allows them to connect both in person and virtually with their learning pod students. Each learning pod should consist of no more than about 12 to 15 students per day and should be grouped by shared needs and student profiles as determined by school-wide information, achievement data, and supporting information. Learning pods should be primarily academic focused and should respond to the needs of the students who are attending in person. Teachers will be available to meet with students to support with assignments, provide feedback, and troubleshoot issues that are preventing students from being successful with their remote learning. Schools will work with teachers to group students accordingly and develop robust plans to ensure success. Additional learning pod supports will be provided by counseling and social work staff for wraparound services to respond to the varied social emotional needs of our students. Additional information is forthcoming, and I just have to say on a personal note, as a stepmom to a 7th and a 10th grader who learn in another state, this learning pod process and this plan would be perfect for them, because one of my children is accelerated and enriched, but could use support in that area. And another one of my children needs some additional supports. And so this really is an opportunity to academically wrap our arms around each one of our students, dependent upon individual need. Let's also talk about bell times. For phase 1, again, just to reiterate, they are K-12 students in specialized programs. They'll follow their bell schedules, which were published prior to the 2021 school year. And then phases 2 and 3, so these are students in general and special education, pre-K through 12 will follow the bell schedules published prior to the 2021 school year. And for any additional information, you can visit our website at www.rcsdk12.org/schools for additional information. Health and safety continue to be the #1 question that everyone is asking as we think about returning to school for in-person learning. So in order to continue to have our students attend school, we must test a percentage of students and staff every month for COVID-19. If we are unable to meet this New York State requirement, the school will have to close and students will return to fully remote instruction. The district is keeping a close eye on COVID-19 in our community and the latest guidance from New York State, and we know that circumstances can change at a moment's notice. Additional resources for family and staff are as follows. Families, as I mentioned, will receive a back to school guide that can be followed at the website listed. Families will also receive information regarding transportation arrangements, pickup times for each day that there's in-person instruction. And staff have received information in an email, and a handbook has been generated to answer commonly asked questions and just to provide information about returning back to school. With that, that's the overview of our reopening plan. I want to wish each of you who are watching right now a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. It is my sincere hope that you will have an opportunity to recharge, to relax, and to celebrate safely with your family and friends. My plea certainly is that you continue to mask, you continue to observe social distancing, and that you're safe during the holidays. I thank you for your time this afternoon. I wish you a wonderful weekend and happy holidays.